Yuta Okkotsu at his maximum potential is a force unlike anything we've ever seen in JJK. Cursed child? More like cursed god. Let's talk about it. Honestly, it's hard to know even where to start with Okkotsu, but let's just begin with his physical stats, okay? He's obviously not a freak of nature like Yuji, nor is he literally heavenly restricted like a Maki or a Toji, but he is able to keep up with them. This is Yuji right after Choso referred to him as a demon god, and Yuta is keeping pace with him while holding a sword. And I'm sure I don't have to remind everyone how that fight ended. Now, yes, this was Yuji with a death wish, but still, there aren't many people in JJK that could have done this to him. How is Yuta able to keep pace with the Yujis and the Makis of the verse? And before anybody yells in the comments, no, I'm not saying he's literally as fast as them, but he's right there in the same range, right? And that's largely due to his precision with utilizing his own cursed energy, of which he has more than Gojo. Yuta has the second most in the verse, only being eclipsed by Sukuna. So Yuta has an insane amount of cursed energy, is excellent at using it to reinforce his body, and oh yeah, he's also capable of hitting Black Flash, something only a handful of characters in the story are capable of, and also the thing that is said to separate average sorcerers from incredible ones. Those that have hit Black Flash understand the true essence of cursed energy far more than those who have not, and Yuta did this basically as soon as he became a sorcerer almost. But honestly, even more impressive than the Black Flash is Yuta's use of RCT. This is something he was just a freak prodigy of. He didn't have to be taught this, he just knew how to do it. And not only is that impressive in and of itself, but he is also talented to the level where he can do it on other people. Aside from Sukuna, Shoko is the only other character in the verse that we have seen do this, and it's all she can do. So with everything we talked about so far, Yuta is one of the strongest characters in the verse, and we haven't even mentioned his curse technique or Rika, so just let that sink in. So now let's talk about those things, and they go hand in hand, because Yuta's curse technique copy is really only possible because of Rika. And we're only going to be talking about the version of Rika that Okkotsu now has, not the original Rika from Jujutsu Kaisen 0. So let's very briefly go over what that is. Rika is the external storage of cursed techniques and cursed energy that the real Rika left for Yuta when she was released. Only when he's connected to Rika through the ring can he use cursed techniques, fully manifest Rika, and obtain Rika's cursed energy for himself. And this state lasts for 5 minutes. Just a reminder that Okkotsu already had the second most cursed energy in the verse, and when he fully manifests Rika, he now has boundless or infinite cursed energy to play with. And that's a good thing because also he has an entire stable of curse techniques to play with because his curse technique is copy. Now, I don't think I need to explain just how powerful this is, because if we're talking about Yuta at his full potential, if you think any curse technique out in the verse is strong, Yuta could feasibly use it for himself. Now, in this video, I'm not going to get into the weeds on explaining how he has to copy things. I've got videos on that, but needless to say, he could theoretically copy a ton of powerful curse techniques and use them himself. And again, he has infinite cursed energy when he's in this state. So he's not really being limited by any restrictions that some of these other curse techniques might have. Really, the biggest limiting factor here is Okkotsu's morality and the fact that he's a good guy. Because to copy a technique, he does need to have Rika consume a part of that person. And the more she consumes, basically, the better he's going to be able to copy it, right? So he's not just going to be going out there and stealing curse techniques from his friends and other sorcerers because he's just not that type of person, right? But we have seen that when the situation calls for it, his friends and allies will let him do that. And the bonus is that after he's done using it, he can just be the one to heal them back from whatever Rika ended up consuming. But what's crazy is there's no morality that's going to hold Okkotsu back from stealing cursed spirits' curse techniques, which we don't know if this is strictly possible because we never saw Okkotsu use a technique from a cursed spirit, but I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. And so just think about every technique that he could potentially add to his arsenal as he continues being a sorcerer for the next 10 to 20 years of his life. We're not done with the limitless potential here, pun intended, because not only can Okkotsu copy techniques, but now he can body swap, just like Kenjaku did because he had Rika eat Kinjaku, which means he might also have cursed spirit manipulation and anti-gravity, but we can't say that for sure, and I don't even think he needs those with everything else that he has. But because he knows how to brain swap now, not that he'll be doing this, because again, his morality would hold him back more than anything else, but Okkotsu could, feasibly continuously swap bodies for the rest of his life and be functionally immortal and perhaps pick up more and more curse techniques as he goes. Now, we know that when Yuta swapped into Gojo's body, he wasn't able to retain his original body's techniques, but we know that Kinjaku did know a way to do that. So feasibly, one day Okkotsu might figure that out as well. Also, not for nothing, Yuta might have copied the Limitless. Now, again, his morality kind of gets in the way of this, but, if you're worried about the future and you want to be, the monster, I don't even think you have to be a monster necessarily, but be the monster in Gojo's place. Maybe he had Rika eat some of Gojo's body, right? We never saw a funeral. Maybe that's where it went. Meaning Okkotsu could theoretically have the Limitless in his own body now. Now, you might be saying he doesn't have the six eyes, so it doesn't matter. But I think that's kind of irrelevant for two reasons. One, when he has Rika out, he has infinite cursed energy. So the efficiency of the six eyes isn't something he would need to worry about. The precision of the six eyes would be relevant. But I think, again, for a 5-minute window, if he needed to, he could probably blast off a hollow purple, assuming he ate Gojo's body. But even beyond that, if he copied the Limitless, even if he couldn't use it without the six eyes, he could put it in his domain expansion. And let's talk about this domain expansion because it is one of the nuttiest in the entire verse. Yuta gets access to his entire roster of copied curse techniques that he can use freely. Now, they are randomized amongst the swords within the domain, but still, that's not very much of a downside to being able to use, 4 dozen different curse techniques. But on top of that, he can pick whichever of his copied curse techniques that he wants to imbue into his domain's barrier, meaning he can pick whatever he wants to be his sure hit effect, right? And the versatility there is absolutely insane. We saw him use Jacob's Ladder against Sukuna, and that one is going to win you, 90% of battles against sorcerers because they're not going to be able to do anything against that. But even if they can, he's got a million other techniques he could imbue into that barrier. And just like I was talking about, he could theoretically put the Limitless into his barrier, thus foregoing the need of the six eyes to really pilot it correctly, right? And from everything we understand about how this works, that should be feasible, meaning Yuta could kind of have a budget infinite void if he wanted to. So I would actually argue that in terms of maximum potential, this is the best domain in the series. And if you think that there's one better, well, just Okkotsu could copy that and use it himself, right? And not only would he have that sure hit effect, but now he's also going to have all of his other curse techniques he can wield on top of it. It's ridiculous. But even going beyond just the pure potential and versatility of his domain, he is also just incredibly skilled at domains and refinement and barrier techniques. We know that he is able to singularly target out Sukuna within his domain and exclude Yuji, something that even Gojo wasn't capable of doing. On top of that, we also know that he has experience shifting the size of his domain, being able to shrink it down to that of a basketball just like Gojo did, which he did only after watching Gojo do it one time. And Yuta is what, 17 years old? 18 maybe? Gojo was 30-something, right? So imagine Yuta at Gojo's age, with another decade and a half to train, to hone his skills, and more importantly, another decade and a half to add more and more curse techniques to his arsenal. This kid is beyond special grade. You know what? Let's just say you're able to get him down somehow, okay? Well, Rika's still here, and this is something I haven't even talked about. We've talked about what Rika gives Yuta, but we haven't talked about Rika herself. She is a special grade cursed spirit that's with him at all times. Yes, she can only be fully manifested for the 5 minutes, but you are a 2v1 anytime you are coming at Yuta. And again, even if you did manage to cut him down, Rika can heal him, okay? Do you know how broken that is? She is literally a dedicated heal bot if necessary, which is never going to be necessary basically anymore. So she's a dedicated DPS, but if need be, she can play the support role. Just good luck. So that's my 2 cents. In terms of a theoretical maximum potential, I don't know who's standing against Okkotsu, but y'all let me know your thoughts. And a huge shout out to both Antoine and Fifumi for the inspiration and support. Thank you guys so much.